All right, everyone, I'm Mr. Teitel, Mr. T. That's what you can call me during the duration of this course. I'm very excited to learn with all of you, to be working through e-learning with all of you. It's an exciting experience for both of us. It's my first time doing this as well, though I'm a pretty tech-savvy guy. So although I definitely will make some mistakes, I'm sure, and we'll be learning alongside with you, you don't have to worry about me getting the hang of the technology. To that point, I think what's really important on this first real official day of our class is that you guys get a really good sense of how to navigate our online classroom. The online classroom, sometimes I'll refer to it as our online learning environment, actually it comes with a brand name. There's a company that creates this online space for us to use. The company's name is Desire2Learn. Sometimes you'll hear me call our online classroom Desire2Learn. So I might say, hey, you got to make sure to check out the homepage in Desire2Learn. Or I might call it D2L. That's the acronym. The letter D, the number 2, the letter L, right? I might say something similar like, did you check out the course news on the D2L front page? Oftentimes I might refer to it as our online classroom or our online learning environment. All these labels mean the same thing. The online internet-connected space where we come to go and engage with the course learning for the month of July in obviously grade 11 English University, okay? I've noticed today that a lot of questions, very understandably, are focused on how to find things. And so I'm offering up this video as a quick little navigational tour for the D2L online classroom space. And I'm going to try to point out some of the most important things regarding how to get to what you need to get to. Okay? People have been talking about activities, content, assignments. We're going to clarify what these terms are in case you're a little bit confused, show you how they all kind of connect together and how the space works, okay? So for most of the video from here on out, if not the whole thing, you're going to just see my screen. I'm about to share it with you. And I'm going to show you the Desire2Learn space and walk you through it, okay? Once in a while I might come back and pop up here, maybe at the end. We'll see, I'm doing this off the cuff, but I think this should give you guys a good idea of how to navigate your way through the space. Even if you think you know the space already, it might be worth your time to watch this, okay? I'll try to do it pretty efficiently. So here we go. I'm going to switch our screen view here. I'm going to share my screen with you guys, which means that I'm going to be able to show you our online classroom. So here you are, looking at something that probably looks identical to what you see when you log in. The only difference is that if I start navigating around, it's going to show me the teacher view of what this looks like. So far it looks the same, but eventually it wouldn't. So I'm actually going to switch my screen to be viewed as a student. So what I'm doing right now is I'm actually switching over my role in the course. And now when I navigate around, it should look identical, pretty much identical to what you guys see when you log in. So when you log into the space, you should end up here. Now it is possible, I don't know for sure, but it is possible that you actually don't come right to the space. It's possible that you end up in a more kind of a zoomed out homepage, which is the Desire2Learn homepage, which looks like this. And it might give you a list of your courses, okay? I bring you here for one reason, because obviously you want to click on our class, which is easy to recognize. It's our course code, ENG3U, English, the course name, and then there's your teacher's name, my name, title. But one thing that's useful in this page here is that you can see D2L technical support. As far as I understand, I've been told that you guys, student support right there, you are able to chat with Desire2Learn technical people. They are available 24/7. And if you need answers, they're there to give them to you regarding issues with the website. So for example, if you say to me, if you email me and you say, Mr. T, I tried to submit something in the Dropbox and it just isn't working, I'm probably going to tell you, hey, go connect with D2L technical support. Go connect with these guys because they're the ones who are going to be able to help you, okay? So just a quick note of that. And now let's click on our course. And here we are back on our course home page. This is the course home page right here, okay? If I click on this link, it's just going to take me right back here because this is the course home. The course home is like it's like your main page, the splash page, the landing page. Up here you have your navigational toolbar, the main navigational toolbar, and that can help you move your way through the course. And we'll come back to that. I'm just going to give you an overview of what's here. The most important thing on our course homepage is this area right here, Classroom News. It takes up most of the screen. It's kind of like the left side of the screen to almost past the center of the screen. And if I scroll down, you'll see that it works kind of like a Tumblr, right? Like a blog. The oldest post that I've created, the introduction post, it's actually not shown because I have too many posts. If I want to see all of them, I have to click Show All News Items. So that'll actually take me over here. This is the news, right? You see here? This is the news section of our D2L environment. And every single post that's been made will be here. Every single classroom news post. So if I scroll to the bottom of this, now I can see the first post that Mr. Teitel made right here. Welcome to ENG3U Summer E-Learning Edition. If you come to this page, the news page, you are going to be able to see every single post that has been made. There will be 20 posts per page. You can change that if you want and see all of them. You could select 200 posts per page, and then you'd definitely be able to see all the posts that were made right on one page, right? Once I get over 20, you might have to switch through, change that setting or flip through. But here's everything. If I go back to the course home, again, this is the most important area to be looking through because it's going to give you the most recent, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the most recent 4 or 5 posts, maybe 6, depending on the size of the post. So you're going to be able to get a pretty good idea of what's been going on recently in the course just by looking in this classroom news section. You want to be checking this section multiple times during the day, from Monday to Friday. Okay, from the course day, from the kind of the day or the time period that I've allotted for the class to be running, which is essentially 8 to 4 p.m., you want to be checking this multiple times a day. Will I sometimes post things after 4 p.m.? I might, but I'm not expecting you to be checking this classroom news area after 4 p.m. If you are in regular summer school, but like in a classroom, the day would end and you'd go home and you'd have homework maybe for the next day, but I couldn't, show up at your door and knock on the door and tell you to, I forgot, check this out. So you're using this online space to navigate through the course material, but we're doing it with some time constraints, just like as if we were in a real brick and mortar school. So as I put in that first classroom news post, I'm just going to scroll to it. I'm available to answer questions by email from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday to Friday. That's kind of like as if we were in the class together, right? Obviously, it might take me a little bit of time to get back to you because I'm responding to a lot of people, but I'm available at those times. If you email me outside of those times, I might get back to you. It's possible, but I might not. During that time period, I'm definitely going to get back to you. I'm also going to be holding real-time office hours via Adobe Connect from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. and from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Monday to Friday, every day. Okay? So I will be available in Adobe Connect to actually interface with real-time via chat, like a chat window or video or audio or all three or whatever you want. Okay? And that's something that you can use for if you have more detailed questions, things that you want to discuss more in depth, if you want to get some clarification, if you want to extend your understanding of something, that's where you're going to go. All right? If those times don't work for you, you can email me and we can try to schedule an alternative time to meet in Adobe Connect. Sometimes I might reach out to you and say, hey, I think it would be beneficial for us to talk, like actually talk. So let's set a time to meet in Adobe Connect. I know most of you like using the chat box and would prefer to type. The truth is that sometimes it makes more sense for us to talk, right? We're in an English class. It's actually a lot more efficient to use our voices and our words to communicate with one another. So sometimes I'm going to ask you to turn on your microphone or be in a place where you can do that. Okay? So let's go back to our course homepage. What else is on here? Well, we have this activity feed in the top right corner. This activity feed is where I'm going to be posting kind of quick messages. These are not, you do not need to worry about missing something here. I'm not going to post anything in here that would hurt you in a sense if you missed it. I'm still expecting you to look at the activity feed, but the activity feed is more for little reminders. So far I've only posted 3 things to give you an idea of kind of what might be in there. So for example, I say, remember to download our activity and assignment guide. That's something that's already posted here, but I just wanted to draw your attention to it. Then I said, hey guys, the first Adobe Connect sessions from 9 to 11, again, I had already mentioned that in the first news post that I'd made. But here I'm providing the link and reminding you guys that that's where I'm going to be. Little update, the Dropbox folders have been edited to match our assignment guide. So little things like this. If I am ever going to be on Adobe Connect, whether it's during the scheduled times or outside of the scheduled times, I am going to post the link in the activity feed. So if you're looking to get onto Adobe Connect, check the activity feed. I might end up posting something in Classroom News as well, but I'll always post the link here in the activity feed, just like I did this morning, okay? Below our activity feed, you have a content browser. This is actually where all the course content that you need to interact with for the duration of this course is found. You'll notice that we have units 1, 4, 5, and 6. That's because we're skipping unit 2 and 3. For people at the orientation, in-person orientation yesterday, they'll know that already. And here I could click inside of a unit and I could end up navigating in a more detailed way to what I need to do. So if, for example, I was ready to work on Unit 1, Activity 2, I might come over here to A2. That's inside of units, A stands for activity. So I'd click on that, Activity 2, and it would take me, you'll see here, directly to the learning material that's associated with that activity. Inside of any activity, you will see the same material offered to you. You will see an overview, which is actually really useful. I wouldn't skip over this. The overview gives you an overview idea, an overarching idea of what you're going to be doing in that activity. You can click on the expectations. These are the specific curriculum expectations that we'll be kind of exploring. These are like the skills that you ideally are taking away from working with the learning that is found inside of this activity. I'm going to be honest with you, most of you aren't going to look at this, and you don't really need to. It can be helpful to understand what it is you're kind of shooting for in terms of your learning. So I'm not saying don't look at it, but it's not the biggest deal in the world if you don't end up poring over these expectations. You do want to look at the overview, like I said, and you definitely will need to look at the content. Content you can think about like the lesson material. This is what you are actually learning. This is the stuff that you need to read over, the images you need to review. Potentially there might be links. There might be links to other texts that you need to read. Like here, there's a link to a short story that you're going to need to read. There might be video clips that you need to play. You do not want to skip anything that is found on the content page. Once you reach your unit, you go inside of the unit and the activity that you need to get to, you want to read all the content. Don't skip over anything. Even the stuff that's like this, you're skimming, you say, oh, vocabulary resources, I don't know if I need that. Read it. Just read it. Check it out. See if it's useful to you. Okay? The last thing that's always contained inside of an activity are the assignments. Now, you'll notice that in the activity and assignment guide that everyone should have by now, I'm going to pull it onto the screen. Here it is, right? Everybody should have looked this over or downloaded it at this point. This is the activity and assignment guide that's like our roadmap to the course. It tells us what we are responsible for. So for example, tomorrow, I'm expecting that you are going to engage in Unit 1, Activity 1, the themes of our lives, and you are going to end up submitting to me Assignment 1, the poem response. That is due tomorrow on July 6th. Now, note about due dates. I know that timing is flexible for people in an e-learning course, so I'm not going to set things to be due early in the day. I'm going to give you up to the last moment, but anytime there's a due date, it means it is due. The final time to turn it in is 11:59 p.m. on that day. Okay, that's the due date. So you want to turn this in before the day actually switches over to the next day, July 7th. So going back to our exploration of the D2L environment, right? I brought this on the screen. I'll bring it back for a second, actually, just so we could link up the assessments, the assignments, which are another word for those in our course are assessments, and what you're looking at in D2L. So I've said here that you're responsible tomorrow for Activity 1, Assignment 1. What does that mean? Well, you'll notice that we are here. We're in the wrong activity. Let's go to Activity 1. So take a look. If I want to get out of this activity and go to another one, I can just click on the unit, and then I can scroll through here to check it out. There it is, A1, the themes of our lives. Click on that guy, and here we are. Here's activity 1. Here's my overview. Here's my content. I think most of you have already looked at this today. And then I'm in my assignments. Now you'll notice assignment 1, assignment 2. That's it. There are 2 assignments for this one. Now you might be confused because you're saying, hey, I'm pretty sure we only needed to do 1 assignment. Well, that's true. Because if you look at our activity and assignment guide, I am only asking you to do assignment 1. I am only asking you to deal with this assignment here. This is the only thing I want you to deal with. I do not want you to worry about this. That's not part of our course learning. Okay? So you want to use the activity guide in conjunction, in combination with the D2L environment. If that wasn't obvious already, it should be now. So here I am. I'm going to read over my assignment. Having had a chance to read and reread poems by Hughes and Baca, you now have an opportunity to respond in writing. Choose one of the poems and in a well-organized paragraph, outline the poet's views on oppression and or emancipation. Provide at least 3 examples from the poem that support your conclusions. And then I have here a practice exercise. Maybe I am a little bit rusty with my paragraph writing. I want to try to remind myself about what a really good paragraph looks like. Don't ignore these things. Really don't ignore them. Okay? Anything that is attached to something that has been assigned to you, whether it is content or assignment, engage with it. So if I click on this, for example, here we go. Now I'm being offered an activity that will help me to refresh my memory around what makes for a good paragraph, right? That's some good learning for me to engage with. Of course, you're always going to want to check out the rubric for any assignment. Now you'll notice that they have view the rubric and then view the long description. Well, the rubric, if I click on that, it's what you're used to seeing. A pretty standard rubric, right? Level 1, 2, 3, 4. I got my knowledge, thinking, communication, application categories over here, and then my rubric descriptions about how I'm going to achieve in those categories. If I go back and I click on the long description, all of a sudden you're like, whoa, this is too much, right? I would agree. I'm going to tell you, you don't really want to be viewing long description of rubric. You can, but it's just a much more detailed, more confusing version, in my opinion, of the rubric. Just click on View the Rubric for this assignment. If you ever have any questions about the rubric, so for example, if you were saying, hey, what does it mean that I'm providing well-chosen, relevant evidence to support ideas and arguments? I need a little bit more clarification. That's a perfect question to ask me or to talk to me about in an Adobe Connect session. Can you ask me by email? You can, but think about it. Probably a lot of other people have those questions too. So if you show up to those Adobe Connect sessions, you're going to end up benefiting from the questions that other people ask as well. Okay? So that's a reason to show up to them and to take advantage of that time where I am there. And if I see that a lot of people come and we have lots of questions, I'll extend the time. It doesn't need to be from, just 9 to 10, or 2 to 3. It can be longer than that. So back here we are. We do our assignment. We've read over assignment. Now we need to complete the assignment. What are we going to do? Anytime an assignment asks you for writing, to respond in writing, or to produce a piece of writing, I am expecting that you are going to use a word processor, whether that be Microsoft Word, right over here, whether that be Pages, whether that be a Google Doc, like I have open over here, right? Somebody has already sent me their, actually this exact assignment, Unit 1, Activity 1, Assignment 1, okay? Whatever way you do it, I'm expecting that you are going to create that document in a word processor, and then you are going to submit it to the Dropbox. If you click on the Dropbox link, it should take you to the appropriate Dropbox for submission. The Dropbox is like the inbox where you send me the work that you've done. You can also get to the Dropbox by clicking on this up top navigation bar that we mentioned before. Click on Dropbox. If you do this, you'll actually see all the Dropboxes that are available for our class. You'll notice that they match up with the activity and assignment guide. So there is no Dropbox that's available for something that you don't need to do. That should help you to make sure that you put things in the right place and that you know what to do. Okay? So if I was creating my file, so here I am. Before you upload your file, ensure that you've proofread your work and use spell checker. Great. And then I am going to add my file. Maybe it's on my computer. And you'll notice something interesting here. I have the option to use my computer, which means that the file is locally stored on your computer, right? So if I click this, it's one of those situations where I can then search, right? I can search all my files on my computer to upload the appropriate file. I also have these two options. I'm going to say you should ignore them. They're options that specifically pertain to Desire2Learn tools that we're not really using. So ignore My Locker and ePortfolio. Just think about my computer or Google Drive. Now, Google Drive integration is awesome in Desire2Learn, but it requires one thing. It requires you to have a York Region District School Board GAPS login. If you're not from our school board, you won't have one of these yet, and I'm currently trying to find out whether or not we can get you one. If we can't, the odds are that you might not be able to use Google Drive to upload your files in the course. If you are a WireDSP student already, this is an option that's available to you. Okay? It really doesn't put anyone at an advantage or disadvantage. It's just really for convenience. All right? If you work in Google Docs, which I do, then it makes it easier because you don't have to download the Google Doc you worked in and upload it. It just eliminates a step. But it isn't really necessary. For the people who do want to take advantage of this, I'll show you where you can find this, or how to kind of set it up. This should work. I don't know if it will 100%, but I think it should. So you come back to the course homepage. We have, again, our classroom news, activity feed, content browser, which we were just looking at. And then below that, you'll notice we have Google Apps. I've already synced mine. So my stuff's already open, right? You'll see that my files are here in my Drive. My Gmail is here, my work Gmail rather, is there, right? And then here's a Google Calendar option as well. You can actually sync your Google Drive or your Google Apps by using this widget. It's not going to look the same for you because I'm already logged in. You're not. So it's going to ask you to sync. You're going to see a screen that I can't pull up right now that says something along the lines of, do you want to sync your Google Apps to this account or something? I've already had one person tell me that it exists because they tried to do it and they couldn't because they didn't have a WireDSP GAPS login. That's how I know about what I was talking about before. Okay. So this is pretty much the D2L environment as you need to be thinking about it. You don't need to worry about anything else that's on here. Quizzes, don't worry about it. If I'm asking you to do a quiz, it's a formative quiz, and it'll be located right in the assignment section of an activity. I'm going to go back to our content browser for a second. I just want to make sure we know where things are, or just reiterate stuff. So again, when I go into the content browser, I can see the unit overview. I can see the activity that I'm supposed to be working on, the expectations, the content, which is the actual learning material, the assignment, which will show me all the assignments for that content. But remember, I only need to do the assignments that are on my activity and assignment guide listed there. And of course, the rubric. Okay, so this is how you want to work your way through the course. This is the actual meat of the course in content browser or content up here. That's where you find the stuff. Okay, I'm going to try daily to kind of make things a little bit easier by potentially posting in our classroom news or activity feed, depending on how long the message is going to be, some links that help you get there quicker. I also am going to be posting in the classroom news feed for sure external resources that are not found inside of the content that's already listed here. Those resources are, in a sense, extra. They're bonus. It's kind of like the teaching that I'm doing, part of the teaching I'm doing to help you out as you work your way through the course. So for example, you'll remember that for Unit 1, Activity 1, Assignment 1, which is due tomorrow, you are being asked to write a well-organized paragraph. Well, perhaps you guys need a little refresher on some paragraph writing stuff. You could, of course, use the Writing a Paragraph activity tool that I outlined to you before, but maybe I'm going to go back to our course home for a sec. Maybe what I'm going to do is I'm going to post in classroom news some resources that would help you, for example, with paragraph writing, highlighted here. Okay? I'm also going to potentially be creating some videos. I might even, like this one, but ones that are specific to the learning material that we are working on. But really the best place that you can get some kind of, real-time, in-depth explanation of the learning material that you're working with are in the Adobe Connect sessions. I cannot stress that enough. So if you are reading over material for the day, like let's say, tomorrow, you show up at 8 o'clock, you read over activity 1, the themes of our lives, and you're like, hey man, I'm not quite sure what's going on here, then you are definitely going to come here back to our course home. You're going to look for a post like this one that says, hey guys, I'm in the Adobe Connect today from 9 to whenever. Here's the link. And you are going to make sure that you show up so that you can talk with me and hear me talking about and explaining that activity, that lesson material, the content, and potentially the assignment. Okay? That's pretty much it for now for navigating through the D2L online environment. If you guys have any other questions at this point, I will ask you to please email me them or potentially ask me them in an Adobe Connect session. All right? I hope everything else is going well with you guys so far in the course. Let me just switch back to our discussion view here. I'll stop sharing my screen. Switch over to discussion. So I hope things have been going well. I hope you've been finding things you need to find easily. The last thing I'll mention is that even though we're in an e-learning environment and you're not seeing me face-to-face, you can still ask me to help you in the same ways that a teacher in class would help you. So for example, today I've had a couple students say, hey sir, I'm working on activity 1, assignment 1, the paragraph. Would you mind giving me a little bit of feedback, just a little formative feedback on my paragraph writing? And of course, the more specific you can be, the better I can help you. So saying, can you take a look at my paragraph isn't as helpful as saying, I'm a little worried that my evidence is not so strong. Can you take a look? Right? Stuff like that will help me to get back to you quicker and to be able to answer your questions in a way that leads you to be successful. Good luck with the rest of the course material. I'm sure if you are checking in daily and staying on top of things, you are going to do just fine. And again, I cannot stress how much it will help you if you are communicating with me as much as you need to and on a frequent basis. All right? I'll see you next time in whatever the next video is in this beautiful world of our online learning for grade 11 university English. Goodbye, everybody.